All stand, please. All persons having anything to do with this sitting of Supreme Court of Tasmania, draw 9 and give your attendance. Please be seated.
I am honoured to announce that this morning I received a commission from Her Excellency the Governor appointing me as a judge of the Supreme Court. Let the commission be read.
Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of Australia and her other realms and territories, Head of the Commonwealth. To all to whom these presents shall come, greeting. Whereas there is a vacancy on the bench of the Supreme Court of Tasmania by reason of the appointment of 4 additional puisne judges, and it's expedient to fill the vacancy for the 5th additional puisne judge, now know ye that we have taken into our royal consideration the loyalty, integrity and ability of our trusty and well-beloved Tamara K. Jago, do nominate and appoint her to be a judge of the said court with effect from the 1st day of November 2021 to have, hold, exercise and enjoy the said office and place of puisne judge according to law, together with all rights, profits, privileges and advantages thereunto belonging or appertaining, provided that the said Tamara K. Jago shall actually reside within our state of Tasmania and shall execute the said office in her own person, except in case of sickness or other incapacity. In testimony whereof, we have caused these, our letters, to be made patent and the public seal of our state of Tasmania and its dependencies to be hereunto affixed. Witness our trusty and well-beloved, the Honourable Barbara Baker, Companion of the Order of Australia, Governor in and over the state of Tasmania and its dependencies in the Commonwealth of Australia, at Hobart in Tasmania this 30th day of August 2021 and in the 69th year of our reign. Signed by Her Excellency the Governor and countersigned by Her Excellency's command by the Honourable the Attorney-General and Minister for Justice.
Thank you. Madam Attorney-General.
Thank you. May it please the Court. It is my great privilege today to extend to Your Honour congratulations on behalf of the Government and the people of Tasmania on your appointment as a Judge of the Supreme Court of Tasmania. Yours has already been a legal career of considerable note, spanning almost 30 years since you first entered the legal profession as an apprentice at law, as it was then known, in 1993. After an esteemed legal practice course, with myself, former Premier, the Honourable Will Hodgman, I know former Attorney-General, the late Dr Vanessa Goodwin, my learned friend to my right, Mr Zeman, and I know that he will touch on that very esteemed year of 1993 in his speech. But in all seriousness, as I hope to demonstrate, you've enjoyed a varied career in the law that provides you with the appropriate experience and skills to exercise the important judicial tasks that await you. Having entered the legal profession on the northwest coast of Tasmania, you've worked in private practice with 2 established local law firms, firstly with Jonathan Smith & Co in Smithton between 1993 and 1995, followed by Chris Hudson and Mann in Burnie between 1995 and 2000. Then began your honours career at the Legal Aid Commission of Tasmania, as it was then known, providing legal services and representation for those in our community who are economically and socially disadvantaged. Your strong and indelible commitment is well known for assisting impecunious and disadvantaged Tasmanians who are at risk of appearing in courts unrepresented and or when facing serious criminal penalties. It goes without saying that this was and is extremely important work. From 2005 until February 2016, you worked at Legal Aid as an in-house counsel responsible for the conduct of the majority of complex, critical and sensitive criminal trials. You were also responsible for numerous Court of Criminal Appeal matters conducted by Legal Aid's in-house practice. During this time, you also occupied the position of Criminal Law Manager with managerial responsibility for a pool of up to 14 legal practitioners and 8 administrative support staff. You are also required to act as the Director of the Legal Aid Commission of Tasmania in the absence of the Director. And for 9 years, between 2007 and 2016, you were a Commissioner and staff representative on the board of the Legal Aid Commission. Your Honour is quite properly regarded as a trailblazer in the legal profession, being in 2010 the first woman to be appointed a senior counsel in Tasmania. While at Legal Aid, you fostered many young and perhaps now not so young lawyers at early stages of their careers. You are considered by many as a role model, and your career is one to which many will aspire. Your Honour's commitment to younger members of the profession and to the criminal law is significant. On behalf of the Government and the people of Tasmania, I wish you well in settling into your new role, although you are neither a stranger to judicial office nor to the environs of the Supreme Court, where you conducted many trials and appeals, and I am sure you will enjoy being on that side of the bench in this court. I also understand you virtually resided at the Hobart Supreme Court for approximately 6 months during a lengthy double murder trial conducted in 2014. The Director of Public Prosecutions, against whom you appeared in that trial, and no doubt many trials, records that you were a committed and talented defence lawyer and highly respected by all sides of the bar table. You earned the respect of prosecutors and other defence counsel, and you have a reputation for integrity, respected by the bench and the bar, and for never running unmeritorious matters. In February 2016, Your Honour was appointed as a magistrate sitting in the Burnie and Devonport courts. There you have determined cases in a wide range of jurisdictions, including general crime, civil, child safety matters, court-mandated drug diversion lists, youth justice lists and mental health lists. You have a reputation as a magistrate as being firm but fair and always courteous and considerate to counsel, witnesses and self-represented litigants. The descriptions that I hear from counsel are very hard-working and a pleasure to appear before. I'm certain that those skills and qualities will stand you in good stead on the Supreme Court bench. I have commented before, and it is worth repeating, that as a former magistrate, you will be joining 4 other former magistrates on the Supreme Court bench. That record speaks for itself as to the effectiveness of our court system and our judiciary. I'm very pleased Your Honour has been appointed as the 7th currently sitting judge of the oldest established Supreme Court in Australia. Your appointment restores the judicial establishment to 7 judges, being the maximum number prescribed in the Supreme Court Act 1887. As Attorney-General, I believe that increasing the complement of permanent judges will greatly assist the court in reducing criminal case backlogs that have been challenging for a number of years. In that regard, I note Your Honour's reputation for hard work, and I'm sure that this work ethic will be welcomed by your judicial colleagues on the bench. The Tasmanian community will benefit greatly from Your Honour's quick, learned and fair disposition of cases on the North West Coast and indeed statewide. It is also worth drawing attention to the fact that Your Honour will be the first Supreme Court judge to reside on the North West Coast. While you will be sitting in both Hobart and Launceston on regular occasions, it is indeed an historic moment for the North West community to have a judge permanently stationed in Burnie, and I see this as a distinct advantage to the significant caseload in that region also. As I've said, I'm confident that your extensive knowledge of a wide range of areas of the law and your distinguished career to date will stand you in good stead in your new role as a puisne judge of the Supreme Court of Tasmania. On a personal note, nothing gives me greater pleasure than to see my legal contemporaries achieve such a deserved senior appointment. On behalf of the Government and the people of Tasmania again, I congratulate you on your appointment and look forward to seeing you fulfil this role with great distinction in accordance with the Court's reputation of fairness, independence and upholding the rule of law. I wish you many enjoyable years on the bench, if Your Honour pleases.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Mr Gates.
Thank you, Your Honour. May it please the Court. It's an honour to have the opportunity to address the Court on the occasion of your elevation to the Supreme Court bench. Your Honour has already had a distinguished career in the legal profession and as a magistrate over some years, and I know I speak on behalf of the whole profession when I say that your talent and experience are such that it is inevitable that you will be an asset to the Supreme Court. Your dedication and commitment to your work as a criminal defence lawyer is well known throughout the profession, and the number of people who are here today, particularly those from or joining us from the North West Coast on a public holiday, is testament to the high regard that you're held in by the profession. You have built a reputation for being unflappable in court, which has stood you in good stead given that things do not always necessarily go to plan. I have it on good authority that during the Standage trial you awoke in your accommodation one morning to your accommodation being flooded, and you did your best to rescue your court attire and materials and effectively wade to the street before appearing in court that morning. Notwithstanding this, you carried on with the hearing with your characteristic professionalism. As a magistrate, you have established a reputation for being not only fair, but as courteous, understanding and tolerant with those that engage with the courts, particularly lawyers. I have some personal experience with this. I made the error of dabbling in a criminal matter some years ago, and it was my first ever criminal hearing before Your Honour when you were sitting as a magistrate at the Queenstown Court. During that hearing, the somewhat inexperienced criminal lawyer who's now standing addressing the court asked the clerk to hand a statement to Your Honour, to which Your Honour responded, "Why have I got this, Mr Gates?" Me, having realised that I had handed you a statement without first having tendered it, I then asked the clerk to hand the statement to the witness in the witness box for the purpose of tendering it. Unfortunately, my problems hadn't finished there. I then asked the witness, "Is the document you have before you a statement you swore in May of this year?" To which he truly and accurately and honestly answered, "No, it is not." At which point I realised that I'd actually handed up the wrong document. Notwithstanding this, Your Honour was very tolerant and patient and made my first criminal hearing although not a highlight of my legal career, one that could have been a lot worse, I think. Thankfully, I got a successful outcome because, as Your Honour pointed out in summing up, you didn't believe anyone, and therefore you couldn't be satisfied beyond reasonable doubt. As the Attorney-General has rightly highlighted, you have been a trailblazer in the legal profession, holding the distinction of being the first woman to be appointed as senior counsel before being appointed as a magistrate in 2016. However, you are a trailblazer in other ways. Attracting and retaining legal practitioners in the regional areas of Tasmania, particularly in the northwest of the state, has been a real focus of the Law Society in recent years. It is vital for access to justice and assuring that Tasmanians in the regions have access to quality legal representation. You have practiced throughout your career in the North West Coast, commencing in Smithton before relocating to Burnie, where you were based for over 20 years, before your appointment as a magistrate, where you also were based in the northwest of the state. While practising on the coast, you have acted as defence counsel in some of the state's most significant and complicated criminal trials and appeals, and your talent, hard work and commitment to the administration of justice was recognised in your appointment as senior counsel and more recently as a magistrate. What you have done is to demonstrate to early career lawyers and the profession more generally that you can reach the pinnacle of legal practice and judicial office in this state while practising in regional Tasmania. The importance of the example that you have set should not be underestimated. Having said all of this, given the superior lifestyle, coffee and natural beauty of the North West Coast, it's hardly surprising to me, as someone who has relocated to the coast, that you've chosen to remain there throughout your career. That you will be a Supreme Court judge based on the North West Coast is also a significant and welcome step, that will not only further advance the interests of the administration of justice in regional Tasmania and the viability of but also the viability of regional practice. Your appointment is a credit to the Attorney-General, the Honourable Elise Archer MP, not simply because you will be an asset to the court, but because the Attorney-General has brought about the appointment of a seventh judge on the Supreme Court and has had the vision and commitment to recognise the need for that judge to be based on the North West Coast. While I doubt this was the Attorney's intention, I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone from Burnie when I say that this appointment is a welcome and important step towards Burnie one day replacing Hobart as the capital city. On a serious note, on behalf of the legal profession, I wish you all the best for your time on the bench, and I look forward to the valuable contribution you will inevitably make to this role. May it please the Court.
Thank you, Mr Gates. Mr Zeman.
Thank you, Your Honour. Firstly, Your Honour, I'd like to acknowledge the Nina people on whose land this court stands and where justice is dispensed. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Your Honour, it's my great privilege and pleasure Your Honour, to address the court on behalf of the Tasmanian Bar Association. The Tasmanian Bar is now an entrenched and essential part of the provision of legal services to the public in Tasmania. Putting this alongside the advantages of the fused profession in this state, the public is well served with the provision of legal services. It is with your appointment, Your Honour, to the Supreme Court to be the seventh puisne judge that the public will be well served in the administration of justice. The Tasmanian Bar Association is pleased that the Tasmanian Government has felt the need to address the long-standing issues in delay in this court by appointing a seventh puisne judge. It has been approximately 25 years since the retirement of Justice Wright that this court has had 7 judges. Much, Your Honour, has been said of your personal achievements that in the court, and I don't repeat them, but what I would like to say, Your Honour, is that many of your achievements have been firsts, and most of those, Your Honour, have been classified as first based on gender. Now, I must say, as the learned attorney has pointed out, the class of 93 has been an impressive class. But at least that I'm part of it. But, Your Honour, most of the people that achieved in that class have been women. And the legal profession seeks and needs strong, achieving women. Your Honour, the learned attorney mentioned that there have been 2 Attorney Generals from that class. And I'd like to make mention also that whilst many members of that class have made positive contributions both to the law, business and society, there have been in fact 4 senior counsel appointed from that class, but Your Honour was the first. But those 4 senior counsel were all women who have made contributions Australia-wide. 2 senior counsel are in this jurisdiction, 1 in New South Wales and 1 in Victoria. But Your Honour, I would like to stress, and I'd like to see one day in the future, that the achievements of people, and particularly women, are not seen through the prism of gender anymore, because certainly none of the women that have achieved from my humble class at university have achieved because they are women. They have achieved because they have capabilities, they have skill, and they have what is required to undertake the tasks at hand. And there's no doubt that your appointment to this court is based on your abilities to undertake those tasks rather than on any need to reflect on your gender. But I must stay on that task for a little moment. Women in this profession suffer due to the pressures of families. And there is no doubt that the pressure of family weighs on all members of the profession, but those of my gender, dare I say, get an easy ride with respect to that. So what I would like to do is to publicly acknowledge the contribution that your Honour has made and that your Honour's family has made and the sacrifices that they have made to your success, and acknowledge your husband and your children We're often here to talk about the judge, but it's no doubt that the family makes a very important contribution. I should make mention of the challenges of your office that you now hold, Your Honour. Bluntly, there are many. I not face them, but you're about to face them, Your Honour. Judges exercise their office and are exercising considerable public responsibility. And one of the responsibilities that judges have, Your Honour, quite plainly, is to give opinions. Opinions are held by us all, but the essential difference between the opinion that I hold and members of the public hold is that the opinion that Your Honour expresses will always be right. It could be wrong, but until the Court of Appeal tells us otherwise, it's right. And why that's important, Your Honour, is because the opinion that you express has immediate effect on the litigants that appear in this court. So we are confident that Your Honour will carefully consider her opinions and carefully explain those opinions to the litigants that appear in this court, given the consequences that are there. It may seem trite, Your Honour, but many litigants walk from this court not quite understanding what's gone before them. It's easy for people who stand in my position to understand. And the best judges, and I'm sure Your Honour will be one of the best judges, are those that fully explain and let people understand the process which they're going through. The administration of justice is a very important part of our society, and those people that participated in it are entitled to understand the process that they're going through. Your Honour, I'm told that you've climbed many mountains. You've climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, I can't pronounce that. You've got a mountain to climb, but you'll do it capably and well. On behalf of the Tasmanian Bar, congratulations, and we look forward to serving in your court.
Thank you, Mr. Zeman. I would like to begin by acknowledging Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as First Australians and the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which this courthouse stands. I pay respect to elders past and present and extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Thank you, Madam Attorney General, Mr Gates and Mr Zeman, for your very kind and gracious words. Thank you also for the exercise of some very sound discretion in choosing what you did not say. I am grateful and honoured by the attendance of all of you here today. I especially welcome to the court Her Excellency, the Governor, and Professor Chalmers, retired justices of the court. I also, of course, welcome the Attorney General, other judges, members of the Magistrates Court, the Solicitor General, the Director of Public Prosecutions, members of the legal profession, court staff, and of course, and most importantly, my family and friends. I would like to make special mention of my family. Unfortunately, none of my beautiful children were able to be here today. They all have other commitments which I encouraged them to attend. They have each already made sufficient sacrifices throughout the course of my career, and it is important to me that they pursue their own goals. I know I have their unconditional love and support, as they have mine. I would like to thank my husband and parents for being here today. They are my biggest supporters and critics, and their unwavering love and support is of enormous importance to me. My husband has made a number of sacrifices in his own career to allow me to pursue mine. I am very grateful for that, and I am under no illusion that without him by my side, I would not be here today. My accomplishments are equally his accomplishments. I would also like to publicly acknowledge the wonderful support and encouragement I've always received from my parents. Having spent many years working in the criminal law and sitting as a magistrate in the Youth Justice Division, it is readily apparent to me that the effect of a dysfunctional and fractured childhood can often never be repaired. I am grateful for the happy, stable and supportive childhood my parents blessed me with. They encouraged me in all my endeavours and instilled in me a belief that no challenge was insurmountable if you worked hard enough. It is an attitude that has to date served me well. Since my appointment was announced, I have received many kind and generous letters and messages of congratulations. I have not yet had the opportunity to respond individually, so today I express my gratitude and appreciation. Many notes from those who have been here before contain some very wise advice, which I have no doubt I will return to time and time again when the tasks seem arduous. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I never expected to be appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court of Tasmania. I am proud and deeply conscious of the great honour that comes with my appointment as a judge. I am also acutely aware of the responsibility that comes with it and will endeavour to the best of my ability to fulfil those responsibilities and uphold the distinguished history of this court and the eminence of its judges, past and present. I consider myself very fortunate that throughout my legal career I have had the benefit of the teaching and guidance of many skilled and knowledgeable lawyers. Some of those I have worked for and with, and some were simply members of the broader legal profession. I must say, one of the greatest attributes I consider the Tasmanian legal profession to possess is the affability and helpfulness of its members. As a young lawyer on the North West Coast, I found this particularly so. Members of the profession were willing to give up their time and offer advice and assistance. The collegiality of the legal profession on the North West Coast is one of the many reasons why I have pursued so much of my career from there. Of course, that collegiality extends throughout the state and makes the Tasmanian legal fraternity the envy of many others. I thank everyone who has offered me advice, assistance and guidance throughout my journey. Very early in my career, I was fortunate to come under the tutelage of some wonderful lawyers who instilled in me the value of preparation, perseverance and patience. I will not attempt to name them all for fear I will do someone a disservice, but the development of good habits early in my career has stood me in good stead. I will always be grateful to those who mentored and assisted me during my formative years. As with many young lawyers, of course, making their way in the legal fraternity, lessons were not always limited to the law. It was most important, I found, to develop a very early and thorough understanding of the concept of probable consequence and reasonable foreseeability before matters at play went a little astray. In 2000, I was fortunate to move to the role of Criminal In-House Counsel with the Legal Aid Commission of Tasmania. Then Director, Mr Norman Rayburn, allowed me to make the role my own, and for his support I will always be grateful. It was a role I found thoroughly enjoyable and rewarding. I considered it a privilege to assist the most disadvantaged members of our community, often at a time when they had very little else by way of support. I reminisce with great fondness and pride of the 16 years I spent working at the Commission and the various people whom I was able to help. So many of their personal stories continue to reverberate with me. They reinforced to me then and continue to remind me every day of the importance of a fair, equitable and accessible justice system, the need for vigilant adherence to the rule of law, the need for an impartial, independent and strong judiciary, and the need to ensure the right to a fair trial remains quarantined from interference. Many of my clients did not receive the outcome they hoped for, but in my experience, provided they felt they had received a fair go and had an opportunity to have their case put, they accepted the outcome and respected the process. An important part of my role was to help manage clients through the uncertainties of the court process. It is, in my view, of fundamental importance then that the Legal Aid Commission, whether through its in-house practice or funding of the private sector, continue to provide representation to the most vulnerable within our community when they appear in court. The representation of defendants in courtrooms is and always will be of utmost importance. In my time in the Magistrates' Court, it was so very obvious that those appearing unrepresented found the process difficult and stressful. Having a lawyer to assist in navigating the bewildering, confusing, often complicated idiosyncrasies of the justice system is vital not only to the defendant's well-being, but to the administration of justice at large and the maintenance of the rule of law. In saying that, I would like to acknowledge the hard work and professionalism of the legal aid lawyers and, of course, those from the private sector who appear on legal aid grants. In my experience, such lawyers toil away, often under difficult circumstances, under-resourced, time poor, workload heavy, to achieve the best outcome for their clients and enhance the overall delivery of justice to the community. The contribution these lawyers make to the legal profession as a whole should never be underestimated. In more recent times, of course, I have had the privilege of working alongside my colleagues on the bench of the Magistrates' Court. The Magistrates' Court is the face of justice for the vast majority of our community. An individual is far more likely to have contact with the judicial system in the Magistrates' Court than the Supreme Court. The work undertaken by the Magistrates' Court is very important. For the person appearing, whether as complainant, defendant or civil litigant, what is happening in that courtroom is of great significance to them. It may not be newsworthy or create a new legal precedent, but for that individual, the outcome of the court process can be life-changing. Day in, day out, the work of the Magistrates' Court affects people's lives, and the importance of that can never be underestimated. In my time at the Magistrates' Court, I was fortunate enough to work with and learn from some brilliant judicial officers. I watched them judge with not only great knowledge and skill, but common sense, compassion, humility, diligence, and respect for the individual and the rule of law. Their desire to administer justice efficiently, fairly, was unwavering and without compromise. I thank my colleagues for the valuable lessons they have taught me, for the support, friendship and guidance they have given me, and for reminding me on a daily basis of the value of hard work, attention to detail and calm, considered decision-making. I trust those qualities stay with me as I embark upon my new role. I would also like to acknowledge the very hard-working and diligent registry and administration staff of the Magistrates' Court. They provide a great service to the community in what they do and contribute significantly to the administration of justice in this state. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the court clerks with whom I have worked over the past nearly 6 years. They have, without exception, been conscientious, professional and committed to their role. I must confess I wasn't always the timeliest with lunch breaks. Indeed, in the interests of full and proper disclosure, I'm prepared to acknowledge such lunch breaks were often somewhat abbreviated. But my clerks' commitment never wavered. They were as equally dedicated to serving the community as I was. I am particularly pleased I will be sitting predominantly as the resident judge in Burnie, and I am hopeful benefits in terms of enhanced access to justice and inroads into the large lists will flow to the community. The North West Coast is, in my view, a very special place, and as I have noted, the legal profession there was very good to me in my early years of practice. In more recent times, I have been saddened to observe the reduction in size of the legal profession on the coast. Like many regional areas, the coast seems to suffer from an exodus of professionals to the bright lights of the big city. Many young professionals seem to believe, mistakenly in my view, that a rewarding, fulfilling career is not obtainable in a regional area. I consider myself very fortunate to have forged my career from the North West Coast. Practising on the North West Coast provided me with so many varied opportunities to learn and develop as a young lawyer, to appear in matters early in my career, which I may not have had the opportunity to do so in a larger area of practice. It provided me with a diverse, challenging and rewarding number of opportunities, which laid the foundation for the balance of my career. I very much look forward to serving the court and the people of Tasmania. I am under no illusion that the road ahead will involve a very steep learning curve and much hard work. I know I will face challenges and sometimes I may stumble. We all do. But I will continue to learn. It is that continual learning experience that maintains my fascination with the law. I will do my utmost to fairly, impartially and efficiently discharge my duties to the best of my abilities. Before I conclude, I would like to thank the Chief Justice and each of the judges for the warm welcome they have extended to me, and I extend my thanks to each and every one of you who have attended today. I am very honoured and humbled by your presence and your kind words. Thank you. The court will now adjourn.
All stand, please. This honourable court now stands adjourned.